I want to give a shout out really quick to everybody watching us here on Fox Soul and listening on the podcast. Fox Soul Black Led Network by James DeBose. He saw how important the voice, my voice, our voice, Hollywood Unlock's voice was, and he gave us an opportunity. We're going into our third season where we continue to build with a network that wants to give Black people opportunities to reach the culture. This is where we have to start spending our time with people who are for us, that are doing right by us, and that are making sure that we are continuing to plug into what's happening. Now, I understand that while on the Breakfast Club Damages Bill, I did say I'm trying to elevate. Less tea, more cappuccino, and I do want to elevate. But I spend a lot of time in my mind about what does elevation look like. Elevation does not mean play into the politics of the industry to the extent that you lose your voice. The people expect to log into every show and every podcast and hear from us what we think about what's really happening. And so we have to deliver that. Now, yeah, I'm no longer using the N word. I'm no longer using profanity where I don't have to. I'm no longer attacking. I'm addressing, I'm going to put it out there, and then I'm going to give space and compassion for that person to come in and get some redemption. Not Peter Rosenberg. You're not allowed. Everybody else is allowed, okay? And again, I'm not perfect. We're not perfect, but I do love the fact that people do see the evolution. Um, as far as all the other folks out there, that are complicit in what this person has done, I'm not here to stop anybody's backs. What I will say is that when we give space to people that are looking for us to be the pulse of you know, what's actually happening, let's be authentic and true because the manipulation games, people thinking that this was just a moment where I waited for 4 years to out her or 3 years to out her. No, it was in my new book that's coming up anyway. But but it just happened to be a moment where there was at live active conversation happening for people to hear about it. And so I threw it out there.
Do you feel like some of these platforms, these culture curators, you feel like they're afraid? Because if she calls
Mm.
herself the hip hop Olivia Pope, and I'm sure she's did one or two favors for somebody, do you feel like if they don't have her back, maybe some more stuff will come out? Do you feel like it's maybe a
Mm.
kind of tactic to protect themselves?
I don't know. Could be. Who knows? There's a lot of people that have done a lot of favors for me, and there's a lot of people I've done favors for, but they've all been based on integrity and morals. There hasn't been any, shady slickness going on. I don't know the extent of what she's done or hasn't done. I know that to do things to the extent that you get somebody like a Big U to weigh in is really crazy, and it is interesting. I don't know, but I will say this. I criticized on the Breakfast Club how some executives who look like us, who are in boardrooms with people that don't look like us, aren't doing enough to move the culture. I think a lot of people are getting concerned because now I'm getting calls from everybody saying, hey, we saw you on the Breakfast Club. That was amazing. Let's sit down and talk. We'd love to work with you. I'm the same person before I went on the Breakfast Club, the same person. It's just now, I'm not afraid to really start calling y'all out. And so I will say this again. If you look like me, if you look like Damage and Blue, if you look like us, and you're in rooms that we're not in, you have an obligation to open up the vein to their budgets, to their talent, and to access to events that allow us to come there and provide a snapshot of what's happening. You're obligated to do that because then if you don't, then you're not really about Black excellence. And people talk that talk all day long, but do they really walk the talk? And it's very often that they don't.
What I love about that critique is that you had a problem and you just provided a solution. You're like, hey, this is how you make it better. So my question to you, Jason, is like, how could Karen make this right? If she woke up today and bumped her head and said, let me have some integrity, and said, you know what, guys, I did it. I'm sorry. Who do I could have checked to? What plea deal do I need to write? Would that make it right if she just took the L and stopped doing all this extra stuff?
You know what? sh- I'm not going to advise what she should do legally because, like I said, there will be a process for her, at least for us, to have that
Right.
conversation. And I know that we are going to be contacting her soon. What I will say, though, is that all this public bravado being shown in order to save face, it's not working. It's not working. And I have to say I'm so grateful to the people in the comments and online who are seeing it, who are getting it. And the majority of the people reading and watching these shows and listening to what's happening, they're siding on the side of what's right. This is not cancel culture. This is accountability culture. Let's be very clear. This is accountability culture. And you know what? I've messed up before and I'm gonna mess up again and I should be held accountable. But I've never said the word she should be canceled. I'm not saying let's all cancel her. I'm saying she should be and she will be held accountable. But this show is dedicated to making sure that people understand that the people around these situations are complicit if they're not holding the same conversations that we're having with people, because ultimately you're providing a safe haven for it to happen. And Blue Damage, there are so many broadcasters, up and coming journalists, bloggers, people who, Damage, I've been talking about this course that I'm building in my book, that want to get on and do what we do. And what I love about how timing works is that all this is leading up to being able to provide everybody with the tools to level the playing field. So that way, three voices don't control the whole conversation in the culture. That three voices, three platforms don't have the majority stakeholder, that everybody can do it and make money from it if they want to. So it's just divine timing. But I will tell you, I've been very disappointed in watching how this is played out, and I hope that the public stays woke.
I'm proud of everybody. The public is a lot smarter in 2021 than it was in 2011. It's a new day. I think, funny enough, ironically enough, because people like Charlemagne have made mental health conversations so big, there are folks out there now who are equipped to see what gaslighting is. They're equipped to see what deflection is. They're equipped to see when someone's manipulating them. So those comments that you're seeing where folks are saying, damn, I wasn't a big Jason Lee fan, but he makes sense. The ability to separate personal feelings from just facts is a result of the work that we've all been doing to elevate the conversation. And now that the conversation is elevated, the audience is too smart for the old tricks. And so I hope Karen realizes that she needs a new playbook, because the audience is a lot smarter than they were 10 years ago.